This is Smithy.tv.
You're watching, listening, however you're ingesting this medium, to 5 Questions with Jeremy. Tonight, my guest, you'll recognize her from Degrassi, Being Erica, and lots of other stuff. Paula Brancati.
Huh?
Did I say it right?
Yes.
Look at me.
Brancati. Yeah.
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah. 5 questions. I didn't know it was just 5. Okay.
No, well, you know what it
now
is. Here's the thing.
pressure.
It's the format. I mean, I'm a rule guy. I need to have like format. So for me, it's just kind of free flowing. We're just gonna chat.
Okay.
But at some point in time, I have a box full of questions, and they're random questions.
That makes me really nervous.
Really?
I wondered what that was.
Oh,
Yeah.
great!
I thought it's a cookie jar.
I'm going to explain this cookie jar every single time. From now on, people watching, I will explain it before the podcast starts, so you don't have to hear the story over and over again. Are you a Woody Allen fan at all?
I mean...
Ish?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know the film Small Time Crooks?
No, I haven't seen it. I can't pretend to see it.
The movies. I'll do the short version.
Okay.
I can tell you the long version after. It's essentially about a bunch of bank robbers who start up a cookie store as a front for their robberies, and the cookie store becomes really, really popular, and then they don't have to be bank robbers anymore. So a cookie jar of a safe is kind of
I
like...
love it. Okay, it's very cute. No. I was just hoping that there were actual... cookies in there.
No.
That was my hope.
Maybe I should start doing that.
Oh, I get a little snack.
Oh, I should start doing that.
That could be like a surprise.
It's okay.
Like you either get a question or a cookie.
Or a cookie.
Yeah, it's one of the...
Yeah.
But if you reach in, you're going to feel paper, or you're going to feel pastry.
Or like a fortune cookie. Let's sit on it.
I get them made as fortune cookies.
Could you imagine?
You probably could do that. All right,
Hey,
we're
just
this is great.
Right? It's
this is nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm a creative soul.
You got some branding going on there. We can start selling the fortune cookies.
Yeah, we call it...
I'm looking at Ryan Goldhar. We can start selling...
Merchandising.
Yeah. Nice. I like that.
No. I just want to bring what I can to the table.
No, that was good. Now, you were slightly self-conscious about sitting here because of your...
Right, I wondered what the angles were going to be, and there are cameras everywhere, so it doesn't matter.
Because you injured yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I have a Band-Aid on it to just sort of... Really, it's drawing more attention to this burn.
We'll just talk about it, and then it'll be done. And then
we'll look at... Everyone will look at it the entire time. It's a burn.
Yeah.
Because I'm very clumsy, so there isn't much to the story except I was... curling my hair. No, my hair is not down here. How did it end up there? I'm not sure, but I burned myself, and it's really
But when your
big.
hair is down, it goes to shoulder? A little bit lower?
I have Italian blood in my body, and I move around as I'm listening to music and talking. As I'm curling, if I'm chatting with my brother over in the other room. So anything can happen. It's a war zone. So this is
what do
going
you
to be a
listen to
star.
while you curl? What's your go-to curling song?
Yeah, that's a great question. Right now I'm obsessed with the Lumineers. You know that song Ho Hey?
No.
Oh, it's 2 minutes of just glorious. I've been listening to it on repeat. But in general, I listen to a lot of Ray Charles in the morning.
Nice.
A lot of Aretha Franklin. A lot of pump up soul. Yeah.
I like it.
Stevie was this morning. Stevie Wonder.
Nice.
I'm going to see Aretha Franklin very soon, actually, in a couple weeks.
Well, you just went last week. You saw Lisa Marie, right?
I know. I saw Lisa Marie Presley. And I was saying this to you in my email. It was a bit creepy. She looks so much like her dad.
I haven't seen her in recent. My wife had a mild obsession with her a few years ago.
With Lisa, not with Elvis?
Well, she's a big Elvis fan too, and so is my mother. My mother was a big Elvis fan as well.
They all
the girls. I was in Graceland in my mother's belly. That was what my mom used to tell me.
Wouldn't it be cool if you were conceived on that trip?
I was born the day before Elvis.
That's cool.
I think I'm the 7th. He's the 6th.
Or the 6th or the 8th. I can't remember.
It's one or the other. I'm one was like the wise men, and then me, and then Elvis,
and then him,
or the other way around. It's it's part of the triumvirate.
You're sandwiched in there, but you got some good.
I'm in good company.
Some really good men.
Yeah.
I went to Graceland and it was really cool. I really, really loved. I guess it's a little. I guess people say it's cheesy, but I really just felt like I was so serious about being on those headphones and listening and taking the tour and. Yeah, and Sun Records was one of my favorite parts of the trip too.
Did you do? Because you do music, you're a singer as well. Did you do a lot of music stuff while you were there, or was it mostly just tourism?
We wanted to. Oh, I think it was that. It was a family trip. It was for my dad's 50th because he's Elvis fanatic. That's how we all kind of became Elvis fans. And my brother was underage, so we couldn't really do the cool blues bars and all of that. But Sun Records was really felt, even kind of more than Graceland, like a spot where all of them recorded. And then I became obsessed with the $1 Million Quartet recording, and that musical's been doing so well too. And it's like where the four guys, Johnny Cash and Jerry Lee Lewis and Carl Perkins and Elvis, were recording. I mean, it's creepy how they were all there in one night. If you don't have this record, people, go get it.
I don't know about this. This is news to me.
It's magical. And so Sam Phillips, who repped them all, press record secretly, recorded them all jamming together for like 4 hours, could never really release it, but then after
they all died, decided he could make money off
sure,
of it.
and he made a ton, but like it was so great they're singing like Christmas carols and like
just kind of whatever they wanted to.
Yeah, it was
they're doing what we're doing now.
Really, yeah, they were buddies, but all idolizing. Like Elvis was famous,
but without being told, that's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sam was like, yeah, I guess so. He was like, these are my boys. This is magic, and now they have no say in it.
Yeah, but they have no control whatsoever. But the estate didn't come after them.
I'm sure they agreed. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
I think that
I'm sure they got a cut too.
People are hanging out in Elvis's house all day, so, like at Graceland, right? So I'm sure they were fine with it.
You got to wonder how much of that kind of stuff is just around and it's either has disappeared because the person who recorded it died and nobody never knew about it.
Oh, exactly. I'm sure there's a lot of really great music that's been lost.
That's just gone forever.
But check out that record. It's amazing.
What's it called again? Once more time.
The $1 Million Quartet.
The $1 Million Quartet.
Yeah, and they made a musical of it now.
Oh.
Yeah. But I mean, listen
again,
to the actual...
they're not seeing any of that money.
No, I'm for sure they are. Of course they are.
That's funny.
But yeah, those are my musical tastes for you.
Nice. I like that stuff. I grew up on that kind of stuff. I didn't know there was new music until I was probably 12 or like 15. Because my parents only listened
Beatles.
Like Beatles, like oldies. It's like oldies 1150 and 1050 Chum. It was like those are the two stations on the dial. That was all I listened to. And it was only because of my cousins that I found out about like who was it when I was a teenager. It was
like who is
oh god. Jesus. Like New Kids on the Block. Like that blew my mind. Because it wasn't oldies, like whether it's terrible music or not now.
I know,
but it was like that was kind of the.
But that's kind of coming full circle, like the boy bands and the. I just feel like
true, it
interesting.
It's like the next generation of it.
Yeah, I mean, music now feels like it's so sort of in a good way cutting and pasting what worked so many years ago, right? Or like Amy Winehouse, I just heard a recording with her and Tony Bennett, and it was just they're years apart, and they could sound like they were literally from the same era. I think that's incredible.
But you get that in different mediums too. You get like collaborations, like Scorsese and DiCaprio and that kind of stuff.
Where they jive on a level like
they just two people. Just I think it transcends age and all that kind of stuff, and you just find people that just mesh and they connect in some weird way that you wouldn't expect sometimes.
Yeah, I think that the arts are like that, right?
Yeah, no, it's for sure. First question. You ready for the graphic? You're sure
couple of butterflies. Well, it could be anything.
Here's the other thing.
But I'm telling you, if I don't like it.
Well, here's the thing. You pick it out, but you get it handed over to me.
I can't read it.
Well, some of them might not apply. Like they're kind of it's meant for cross-platform. And if you don't want to, some of them are really personal. If you don't want to,
I'm terrified.
If you don't want to answer, you don't have to.
And I turn red really easily, so if it's something I don't want to answer, you'll know right away.
Okay. Oh my. Oh. This one's not so bad.
Okay.
What's the longest road trip you've ever took? Jesus, I'm gonna ask that again in English. What's the longest road trip you ever took?
Every day is a bit of a road trip traveling from the suburbs, but in all honesty,
where do you live then? No, you don't have to be specific. We don't need stalkers.
In on a good day, it'll take like an hour in traffic from the East End to get downtown. But I'm so used to it now.
I'm in the East End.
Are you?
Yeah.
But East End, like Leslieville East End.
Yeah.
No, I'm I'm like northeast. I am house hunting right now, which is really exciting.
I'm a little further. I'm like Little India.
And and then the beaches are kind of
I'm like in the triangle of.
But I like that East End. I'm looking in that area. Like I really love.
It's good times.
I feel like I'm more of an East End girl though than West End. But
it's very neighborhoody, but it's also really close.
But good for your kids too, because I feel like there's so many schools and.
The school that my kids are gonna go to is like a 5-minute walk from our house.
That's in the parks and stuff is really nice, and I just feel like I don't know. I like that area. I like the West, but I kind of want to like have the option to go to the party. And then go home.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a different. Right? Like, I find that in general, it's like kind of like family-ish is more east and younger.
And then central is
is where we all meet.
It's a really small city in retrospect. Compared to every other city, it's like you can get across it quick. But road trip, have not taken an official road trip. I don't think I've even gone on one, which is so boring. But when we shot Moon Point, which is this movie I did earlier, I shot it 2 years ago, but it came out earlier this year. And we went on like a road trip to shoot it. That was really like we shot it as we went, and like we didn't see the locations before we got there, and we're sort of just, we were like traveling like to Aurelia and
like gypsies.
Yeah, like we slept in the cabin that there was like also no heat and like we were chopping firewood. I mean, it was all very sort of like grassroots. We were sleeping in the cabin that we shot like the party scene in. So it really bonded us very quickly. Like we felt like, so that was the closest I came to a road trip, because really we were road tripping as we went.
Yeah. Well, that's a fun. Did you know get, because I know mostly through social media, I know Sean.
Have you never met?
We haven't. He's going to come on the show at some point.
Yes.
I know Avi.
Avi's great. He really did such an incredible job with the movie.
Yeah, well, he impressed the hell out of me with the way he rolled that movie out.
Yeah. He came on like near the end-ish of production. Like I think he'd heard about it right from the beginning, and he just was so passionate. I think we had a small team, but everyone loved the film so much, and I think he just had the resources, and he's an ideas man. I mean,
if there's one word that encapsulates Avi Federgreen, it's passion.
Passion. I know.
That's a good word for him.
Yeah, it is, and yeah.
So let's talk about, that's a good segue into Moon Point then.
Sure.
So you got involved at what point?
A long time ago. I mean, maybe 4 or 5 years ago now. Because we shot fall of 2010. I probably heard about it 2 years before that. And Sean and I worked together on my first project called Ricky's Room. I was 9 or 8. And it was like a Barney, but with rhinos.
A rhino named Ricky?
Yep, Ricky the Rhino.
It's a nice little
and I'm sure there's some footage somewhere.
Someone find it and post it.
Yeah, it's really, it's like, I didn't grow into my head just yet, so it's like this huge bobblehead version of me. Yeah, really nice. So Sean and I worked together then, and then we stayed friends, and he wanted me, like I read some versions of the script, and we did like a little test shoot of a couple of scenes, and then I didn't know if it was going to go anywhere. And then about 2 or 3 weeks, maybe less than that, before they went to production, he was like, look, I want you to do it. That thing I talked to you about, 2 years ago. Yeah, we're going now. We're going to cast in the next week. And I read the script, and it had been changed a lot, but I liked it. I liked where it was at a lot. And also, like, it's very rare that you get offered a project, in Toronto at least. Like that, it's funny, because I've been working since I was a kid, but you still audition for everything, right? So it was exciting to be offered it, and I really liked the role, and I really liked the character, and I liked I liked the unknowns. I mean, I'm very used to, in TV, it's like, where you're going to work, and where you're going to park, and you have a trailer, you have a room. So this whole, like, the unknown thing was very exciting for me, and I felt like it would be just like a good exercise in just
in humility.
Oh well, no, that I was like ready to rough it. I mean, I feel like that part didn't really scare me. It was more what's the shooting situation going to be like, not knowing the cast, not really knowing much, any of the crew other than Sean. Just sort of like being a small skeleton crew actually was exciting to me. And I think it bonded us right away, because we shot a lot of it in order, and then it really just snowballed from there. Yeah. And we shot it in 14 days.
Was it consecutive?
No, so we would shoot like 4 days, 3 or 4 days, a Thursday to Sunday maybe, or Friday to Sunday. Then prep for the next location. Sometimes getting locations in those days, and then the next weekend. And then we did a couple reshoots, but really it was really limited. And
were you guys up there the whole time while they were doing the prep and stuff, or did you come back in between?
No, we all kind of came back. Like we shot some in Richmond Hill was really supportive. They gave us a lot of money in the end, in the aftermath to kind of finish. And we just really we had the support from a lot of the communities. Oakville, we were in Oakville for a bit. Aurelia was like a few days. We were in Moon Point. There's actually it's named after. Yeah.
And how far is that from Toronto then?
Like, I think it was maybe 2.5. Like, it was past Casino Rama.
Okay.
Where
you saw this.
Yes, exactly. It just all comes back to Casino Rama. Yeah, it was really great. I mean, it was difficult. I think that's the other thing. It's so far away now that we're like, wow, it's amazing. Like,
well, because it's romantic now.
Wow, we did it. It was wonderful because we all became very close, but it was challenging. I mean, I think that's why the rewards are that rewarding, where you go, people get to see our thing now, and oh, it's on DVD, and all the things that are sort of happening with it, I think feel that much more rewarding because of the struggle, and then also the like love we have for the team now. So yeah, it was great. Did you guys shoot Sex After Kids? After Kids, because I was about to say
Sex Before Kids?
No, Sex with Kids, which is
that was I made that terrible joke, and I got whiplashed for it by a few people.
I wasn't even like I was like, wait.
Yeah, you said it by accident. I made it as
Sex After Kids.
Sex with Kids.
Did you shoot it? Like, you also did sporadic shooting, right?
Yeah, it was very sporadic
because of the ensemble cast.
Yeah, and it's funny, and that was even, I don't know if it's hard to say because you guys were up north, so you guys were out of the elements, and we were always in the city for the most part. Mm-hmm. But it's funny, like I think someone recently, another independent filmmaker, said that it's like who's a mother, said they couldn't decide which was more difficult, the idea of like I'm destroying the quote, but the idea was that it's like making an independent film is like having a child. And then the only reason you do another one is because you forget how painful the first one was to do it the first time. But yeah, so for Sex After Kids, my first film, The Untitled Work of Paul Shepard, we did 15 days, but it was all like 5-day weeks, had the weekend off.
Right, pretty structured.
Yeah, pretty structured, pretty standard. And then with Sex After Kids, we shot for 4 months, 15 days. So it was like 2 days here, then we didn't shoot for 2 weeks.
Is that because of like cast availability?
Yeah, mostly. But it was also crew availability because my DP, one of my DPs, Zach Melnick, we had two they worked together the whole time. It wasn't like we had different people.
Right.
One of them, they were both shooting a documentary at the same time, so their availability was difficult.
And when you want the people you want, I mean, I think it's worth waiting, right?
Yeah. Well, and for me too, I work as an editor, so I was also working on a series during the week, so I didn't really have. I couldn't take the time off either.
So then it worked out.
Yeah, we had to do it the way we did it, and I didn't have a break. I was booked solid the whole time, so for me it was just like, well, if we're gonna do it, this is the only way we can do it. So this is just how we're gonna have to do it.
You know, it's a good situation to have too much work, really.
Yeah, it was.
Like in the end.
What was great about it was that we were able to kind of like what you were talking about, your situation with Newman Point, was like the nice thing about shooting that way is it's always tough to shoot an independent film anyway with little to no resources because you're scrambling.
Yeah,
and so it's really tough is when you're doing like 15 days consecutively, you're like, you've got to plan those 15 days.
Of course.
But when you're shooting it the way we shot Sex After Kids, it was like, well, I really just have to plan for these two.
It's not as overwhelming.
Yeah, you're like, you can kind of like, okay, I just have to plan for these two, and then after that we have a week off or 2 weeks or whatever it is.
And there isn't, because it's not a huge budget where you're going, at least for us, it wasn't like we had to wait on, that we had to rush because there was, I don't know, some money thing. It was like we didn't have much. So it was at our, really, like we were just like, okay, great, if there was a little problem, we could find a way to fix it.
Yeah.
I think it is very manageable if you have a good team. Like,
yeah, that's
and
what it is.
It was a very calm set for as much as it wasn't like it was chaotic. I think, it just, I think that's why some of it, I love some of the scenes where I was like, wow, what did we shoot that? Like, I like the scenes that we had the least amount of time with the most. Like the stuff in the bedroom, there's like a scene where we're fighting, where we have like this big argument, 3 main characters, and we were like, it was very tense on set, and we'd all been, a bunch of us been staying in that cabin, so it was definitely like, we've now been working, that was near the end of the shoot.
Yeah.
But it lent itself, like we all had one take, and it really felt like that was...
You got it.
Yeah, like it felt good, I think it can really work. Like that's what's exciting about independent film is, I like that working under pressure thing, I do like that.
It's funny, and sometimes the stuff that happens that way is way better than the stuff that you planned within an inch of its life.
Totally.
We had a scene in Sex with the Kids where it was like literally it was just a crazy weekend. We were shooting like 17 pages in 2 days, and it was like the end of the day, and the scene had to take place outside, and the sun was starting to set. Mm-hmm. We had magic hour, which is great because like you don't have to light it really.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and
it looks great on its own. Mm-hmm. You can kind of just shoot,
but there's a time frame.
But you got an hour.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. And there was planes. There's an airport not too far. So it was like we basically every 7 minutes there's a plane too. So but we got it done with probably a few minutes to spare. And it was just one of those scenes where it was like, and it was like a 3-page scene. Mm-hmm. A dialogue scene.
I love that.
Where it was just like, we just had to do it.
But it's like when you will have 2 weeks to study for your exam, I find...
Oh, fair enough. Yeah,
I'm not doing it till the night before.
Yeah, you're not... Yeah.
In a way, it's like you're going to make it work. And it probably will be great if you have a good team and good actors.
And that's every single day on every film or TV show.
Sure.
Where it's like the first shot is like, I'm gonna grab a coffee.
We're gonna be gone by lunch.
Yeah, we're gonna do it in a few minutes. We're just gonna grab a coffee, we'll set up, we'll do this first shot. It's everyone the last days. And then by the end of the day, it's like, we got 4 shots left and a half an hour.
Can we do roaming singles? How
Yeah,
do we
exactly.
feel about oneer?
Yeah, we can do this as a oneer, right? We don't need coverage. This is amazing. What do we need coverage?
It's
There's a
beautiful.
lot of that.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's like that's almost every day. Where
Of course.
But I think at any time if you rush through it, you would just burn out by noon anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you also don't want to rush through it when you know you have. Yeah, it's such a fun. Like, it depends on the show. I felt like on Being Erica, we had a lot of that kind of thing because we were dealing with locations and like they were 18-hour days. In the first season, we were there pretty much solid like 18-hour days. It kind of got a little less. A lot of hair and makeup, a lot of that kind of stuff for the girls and. You know, in Degrassi, it was like, it's 7 to 7. Like, it's like no other.
Well, they've been doing that show since the dawn of time.
Well, right. Literally, like, really, over 30 years, the whole series and the whole franchise. So that was, like, felt like I was shooting that in Erica at the same time for some time, like, for the first and second season, I think, of Erica. And, like, I'd be shooting around the clock on Erica and then drive to set for 7 in the morning. Not having slept, and it was like just coming home, like you're in your parking spot. I mean, it feels like another world, really. And I loved both for different reasons because I do love being on location, and I love the unexpected elements. But then obviously coming there and going, okay, but now I have a day of it was like of intense material, but like okay, I've got a couple scenes off, and okay, like we'll be out by 7. Like it's just so bizarre to know your end time, but really nice for the crew. Then back to the chaotic jungle, but we do it for the chaos. I think like I love that part of it.
It feeds you too. It fuels you, and that's how you kind of get through, and that's how you're able to do an 18-hour day.
Of course, adrenaline.
Because you're not sitting in a cubicle, kind of staring at a monitor.
Well, yeah, like
you're up, you're moving,
you're on your feet, and
you're having to make decisions. You're compromising sometimes.
And it's emotional, and I mean, in fact, even the more I find, like when you're in most of the day, like I enjoy that. I find it's the waiting sometimes that you get a little antsy, like in between scenes. I prefer like a really full day.
Well, see, from my side, I'm not stopping the whole time.
Exactly,
but
you're
for an actor, do you find that that's the killer? Because you've got to be on at a moment's notice.
I don't even think I used to really be like, because I was doing a lot of shooting. Like Dark Oracle was the first series I did, and I was in school the entire time. So anytime I had a spare second, it would be like tutoring, and those were
because they force you to do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, or you'd waive it, but I was really like needed to have the time.
You could decide.
But actually, like I feel like they thought I was crazy because the second season we would shoot 18-hour days. We were shooting like tons of pages of dialogue. We shot 13 episodes in 7 weeks, which is a lot.
That's quick.
Really quick. And first season we took 3 months because I was underage, so we were sort of like a restriction. This time I was 16, but I'd be like,
now Paula's of age, we're gonna work it to the bone.
And they're like, you're gonna wave tutoring, right? And I'd be like, guys, like at 1 a.m, I'm like, I need to have my 2 hours because I'm just like really stressed and I need my time to do. Like, can you keep the tutor for me? And they're like, well, you have to push call. I'm like, I was just like such a big loser. I wanted to get everything on time.
I need to know my calculus.
I was like, no, I need to do my project. Like they would push
your
call.
Diorama?
Yeah, literally had to do a diorama. It's hilarious you said that. I couldn't believe I had to do a diorama, in fact. But yeah.
Why didn't you just have the art department do it?
Because I was such a like...
Or did you at least help? Did you borrow props?
I didn't even ask. It's a great point. And no, I didn't. But I also had like... I took gym that semester, I remember. Because like, I'm not a great athlete. I'm not an athlete at all. And I did like my own gym on set. Like I would like run a lap around.
Who's marking you on that? How do you prove you've done it? Do you have a pedometer that you had to hand in at the end of the day?
I would write logs. It was a trust system, but honestly, it's not a bad thing to get a little, run.
This is a good thing. You were wonderfully disciplined.
Oh my God,
most people would just
much.
say, "I just have honor system." Great, sure, check.
I don't know why I was really anal about it, but I think like I went to an art school and I really loved going back. Like when I could go back. When we weren't shooting, I really loved the arts program and like I just really loved being there too. I loved being on set and I loved being in school. So it was really a nice, best of both worlds. So I guess there was this feeling of like I didn't want to go back and have them think, oh, the actor is like just
phoning it in.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I put that all on myself. Like no one was putting any sort of pressure. In fact.
Yeah. Was that tough, kind of living in those two worlds in terms of like school and work at the same time?
Well,
I mean, you were at an art school, so...
But I wasn't, it was the first year of the arts program, my year, and it's so funny because yesterday I went to a meeting to help be on, like, I'm on the committee for the 10-year anniversary of the arts program, and I really felt like, oh my God, it's been 10 years? Like, I feel a little...
I'm old now.
Yeah, I felt a little old. But it wasn't, because when I did Dark Oracle, I was in every day, like every scene every day. So I was gone for, really what was hard was like being so removed and then coming
semester.
Back
Yeah.
and then feeling like, oh, no one else is doing this professionally. And I felt like but I met some really great people. I was in music, so I don't know what the drama program would have been like. I hope it would have been supportive, but certainly being...
They must have just hated you. Here's this bitch in the music program.
I was in vocal,
taking all the acting work.
They were like, I don't know. You're right. I hope not.
But do you think there was like some copying of attitude where it's like she doesn't feel like she needs the drama program?
I don't even know if it was on the table. I really was like, really wanted to be singing every day because I felt like I've been singing since I was a kid, but I liked this idea of being able to sing every day because it really keeps your voice active. And like, I never took drama in school. So just the music program was very supportive. I think it's easier also when you're shooting, to be away from the choir as opposed to like your scene partner in the drama class who can't work with you now.
Right.
Maybe, like I just had really supportive teachers who would say like, come and do your recital at my house later. And I'm like, we'll mark you. Like it was just they were just really great. I mean, I think, I don't know why an arts program wouldn't be, but I've heard stories of them being other schools being difficult sometimes, and making it hard for professional actors.
Did you go on? Did you do college, university at all?
I did a year at U of T, out of school, but I was filming a lot at the same time.
You kind of got the career thing going okay. Like, it's not like you need to fall...
I mean, it would be like I'd have to do something. It wouldn't... Yeah, like I was enjoying the classes. It was like really... I really enjoyed the classes. I just kind of like, you cannot... It was just difficult to spread myself that thin. I did it, and it was fine, but again, that studious, like, Keener was like, oh, I'm not doing as well as I can be. Like, I've got to just stop.
She just really made it up. You're like, no, you don't care.
I was like, I can't do... I know. I was like, what was I doing all those hours on set, and now I'm not even in school, but... I think I would go back but go to like college or something for something in the field. Like I don't know if I'd go back for my BA.
Like accounting.
Yeah, accounting. Oh God,
yeah.
I don't think I've taken math since I was 15. I don't know if I can do it.
Because no one's forcing you anymore.
Right, because I was doing gym on set.
I dropped out of math in high school because I realized I thought you had to have 3 math credits.
Me too.
You only need 2. So I was literally in my 3rd week of my 3rd math class. And I was slightly belligerent in high school. I don't think I was an asshole. Maybe I was. I don't know.
What do people tell you you were?
I think one time a teacher told me I was belligerent, and I had to look the word up. And I'm like, what? How dare you call me this word I didn't know? And I felt terrible about it, and so I worked really hard on trying to not be that way.
That's nice. Most high school boys would be like, nah.
Fuck you then. Yeah. So 3 weeks in, I was the teacher, because I'd kept on making comments, because at that point, that's when the math starts getting complicated. And it's like, I'm never going to need to know this, and I'm never going to need to know that.
Exactly.
Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, why are you in this class? I said, because you need 3 math credits to graduate high school. And they said, no, you don't. You only need 2. I said,
you're like,
got up. Now I have a spare.
Spare was, that was fun.
Yeah.
Spare why take it if you don't have to?
Well, but here's the thing, I was never going to go into a math.
Yeah, like, for business, certainly, like...
I can use Microsoft Excel, and sometimes that's
I think I should take a computer course. I just got a new Mac. Like, I was long overdue for it. Like, I've been, like, using a computer with, like, a faulty screen, and, like, I have to hold it at a certain angle. Like, it was time. It was really embarrassing. So, now I've signed up for those classes at Apple.
You just go to the Genius Bar and hang out
where you can go and like take a lesson on how to do stuff, because I just feel like it's getting sad. Like I'm turning into my father or something. Like I'm just like looking at the phone. Like it's like I'm becoming worse or something.
Nice.
Yeah. No, not great. Not great. Paid for the class. I gotta take it. Yeah.
Well, what kind of stuff are you learning in this class?
Like I just think it's just basic shit. Like I'm going like, how do I like I'm not maneuvering it properly. So they're gonna teach me like shorthand, for example, when I'm editing.
Oh.
You're like, I could teach you that in a second.
Well, no.
What are you doing?
But you're taking like editing programs like Final Cut or
I want to learn. Now that I've and also they're gonna transfer over my computer. I just feel like
soup it up and make it all
whatever they gotta do.
Nice.
Yeah, and Final Cut Pro, I should probably I'd like to kind of get a handle on that, because in high school I sort of directed friends of mine to like do that on the computer. Like I wouldn't actually do
Make
it.
the thing do the thing.
I was like, I'm the director in the film project, so you can just do that. So maybe it's time for me.
It's good to know the other side.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's do another.
Oh God!
Are you ready?
Right. Yeah, I'm ready. But again, I'm a little nervous because that was
Really?
Yeah.
That wasn't bad.
Well, a road trip, right? I didn't even take one really, so
But
it
this
was
is okay.
great.
But the whole point of this is to like
Get
it going.
I mean,
Okay,
obviously
otherwise
we
it's
could
just-
talk.
I don't know if we could. I think it just would die, fizzle really
Yeah.
quickly if it wasn't for this metal ceramic box.
Okay, go.
You're being really good about not.
I know. I just shut my eyes. And what am I doing? I'm
Good
really
for you,
nervous
though.
about that.
Some people, I won't mention Tommy Amber's name, but I think she took a peek.
Okay, I think I'm gonna have to for the next one because I'm nervous about this. It looks long.
Oh, it's really long.
Oh God.
And again, you can choose.
So I can veto it.
You can veto it if you really want to.
I can say.
But I'm not going to cut it out, so people will know you vetoed it.
That's
so
fine.
there's that. You got to own that.
God.
Okay.
I should have a graphic for that.
Yeah. Vetoed question.
Vetoed.
Yeah. What is the worst kind of direction, or at least helpful, that someone can give you on set?
Hang on. What is the worst kind?
Of direction, like that someone can give you as an actor.
But what was the helpful part?
Or at least helpful.
Or least helpful. Okay. What is the worst kind of direction or least helpful?
Just another way of saying worst. Like something that doesn't
You're trying to be more positive about it.
Yeah, if someone tells
Yeah.
you, I want it to be more red, or something like that. Like, what's something that someone's given you in the past, you're just like, I don't even know what the fuck that means.
What is the least helpful piece of direction? I wish there was like a story that would be like, oh, I don't know. I don't like guessing, so I really would prefer. I always prefer like a director to be really, really straight with me. Like I can't think of a specific example, but I don't know what your style is, but I like directors with different kinds of personalities. It's not like I feel like, oh, I need someone who's like super aggressive or super this. But certainly if like I don't know what they mean, I'm like, what do you mean though? Like I really need you to tell me because
But you don't want like a line reading.
No, but it's funny you mention that because I was working with I can't remember who now, on an episode of Being Erica, and there was a scene where Jenny had to be high, so we were all like smoking weed, but in fact, like we couldn't actually show it, I think, because it was CBC. So we're fake smoking weed, and we're like, but we're not actually, yeah exactly. And I've never been high, and I was sort of doing my version. They're like, Paula, you're really like, you're seeming a little high energy for this. And I was like, no, okay, like I'm gonna really tone it down. So I'm like giggling, and they're like, you just seem more drunk. And then it was kind of taking a long time. Finally, I was like, seriously, I would love. I'm being so honest, please.
But had they known that you had?
Yeah, I said, look, I've
Okay.
never been high, and then they didn't believe me, and I was like, no, I'm serious. But even
You're just being the good girl.
even if I had been, it's also like sometimes I find like even playing drunk, which I've been drunk.
There's different kinds of drunk.
Yeah, there's different levels, right? And I feel like because Jenny's very, like, it just wasn't working for her version, I think is what the problem was. But I was really like, just start talking to me like you would when you're high. This is what I said to our director. And he's like, okay, this is fun. So we kind of just bantered back and forth. And I really like imitating voices. So I felt like as soon as I heard him, like it wasn't even a line read.
Yeah.
I wanted to just kind of get in this groove that I was like, oh, okay, yep. And then we rolled and it was fine. Like that to me doesn't feel too specific. Like I want to get it. I want to do like what we need.
Yeah.
And I'm not too precious about like, if you need to give me a
But
little
the
line
ego?
read so I can, no, not at all.
Nice.
It's like, whatever we need to get this done.
Yeah.
Let's do
Do
that.
you remember the episode number so people can check that out?
Yeah, it was called Born This Way.
Okay.
Or Born That Way, season 4, after the Lady Gaga song. And it was an episode where we're like, we're like pressuring a girl to smoke weed. And
And I think they're on Netflix now. I don't
they're
know if
on
all
Netflix
seasons are.
and on iTunes, and
So there you go.
it's all, and it's over, right? So that was in the final season.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it
but-
totally does. No, but I mean, the thing is, because I mean, I like to think that some of the people that listen to this are people that are, might have aspirations to either act or direct. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's good to know what kind of stuff helps actors and what doesn't.
Yeah, I think communication is very key, like in any relationship and in a director-actor relationship, because with TV, you're working with a new director every week sometimes, so you have to build that trust very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And
you also know that you've been with the character a lot, especially in like the 4th season.
well,
You've
yeah,
been
and
with
they're
the
so
character a
great
lot
to be
longer.
like, oh yeah, because that Erin Karpluk and I played Erica would talk about that a lot, where sometimes the director, because they are really the guest star, the director would be like the guest
Yeah.
star, and I know they feel like they don't want to impose because you do know the character, but But they've all, of course, if you came on the show, I'm sure you would watch. Like, I know the guys who came on would watch, a few Jenny episodes if it was a Jenny episode and kind of learn about the arc. So, yeah, I never wanted them to feel like they couldn't talk to us about it because we know the characters for so long. But I find it harder when you're going on for, like, a guest star thing. Like, when I'm being, like, a day player on something where you're the new kid on the block. You don't know, the director also is, so you kind of bond immediately. You get along with the director, yeah. Yeah, we get each other, and, like, you've got to really feel like one of the gang right away.
Well, you got to get into the rhythm too, right?
Yeah, like, I did an episode of Call Me Fitz that just aired, and I was really nervous to watch that because it was so much fun to do, but...
Yeah, it's a great show.
Such a good show. And, like, adult comedy, so that was really cool. And you can say... whatever the fuck you want. It's like they just wanted you. They were like, swear more. Just swear more. Like, it was so weird to be somewhere where there was no network restriction. Like, no, it was just so free. Like, and Jason Priestley was directing too, so I think we just, like, they were just so in a rhythm. But yeah, I felt like I was certainly, like, nervous about going on set because you're like on this adult comedy and you're only there for 2 days and you want to, like, get in the rhythm, make an impression, but fit right in. Like, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. So I think, and they were such a great crew. Usually it's always an incredible crew. So you just have to get rid of those nerves. And he was a great director.
How'd you feel about when you saw it?
I liked it. I got it. I kind of, like, watched and, like, didn't fully, like, sit calmly. I got to rewatch it because I might have to maybe see if there's something for a demo reel. But yeah, I liked it. I was happy with it, and I liked everyone else in it a lot more than I liked myself, but I liked it. And Jason's, like, he was really great as a director.
What kind of director is he? What's he like?
Well, because he loves, he obviously loves the show, knows the show. The crew adores him, so we were so ahead of schedule because they were just so in sync. Like, we added a 2-page scene from the next day, which I'd never really happened to me before on set ever. Yeah, he communicates. He's also really, like, he's so fun and confident and all that. But then when he's dealing with the actors, I think that also has to do with being an actor. He's very private and kind of keeps it intimate, which I appreciate because you could totally yell notes across the set. And, like, we're used to that. I'm used to that. That could happen. Yeah. But it is nice to kind of have that moment. Yeah, where you're kind of, like, taking it in and having.
Do you stay, like, where you are on the set? Do you go in a corner? Like, how's the...
To chat with the director? Yeah. I think with him we were kind of there, but certainly not that. I don't know.
Does it feel weird to get pulled aside?
If it's like a big talk, I think it would feel. Yeah, maybe. I'm trying to think. Like, it didn't happen there, but.
Because I'm never sure what to do with people. Like, that's the one thing I don't know. I'm like, because I like to walk in and because I don't want to be yelling across her unless it's something really simple.
Sure. Like, move your like a physical
suck
thing.
Suck less on this one, like that kind of thing. I'll yell across the room.
Yeah. Suck less on this one. Yeah. Do better.
Yeah. This one's gonna be good. This is a real one. We were rolling on the last one, but this one's real too. Okay, and go. No, but it's like, but for me, it's just like because you want to go over and you want to. Especially if it's something intimate or delicate, you want to, but also, part of me is almost like, well, should I just step off to the side? But then does that look like I
know what you mean, because then you don't want to, you're doing it really to help. It depends on the actor, I think.
True enough.
Because, like, if it was a big talk, then I guess it's got to be to the side. I find for emotional stuff, though, if it's about, I just ran into my friend Ron Murphy, who's, like, an incredible director, and we worked together on Dark Oracle years ago. And he always treated, like, I was the youngest. I was 14 when we started, and everyone was about 3 or 4 years older. He always treated all of us, though, like we were his age.
Yeah.
And, like, totally his peers. And I remember that was my first kind of experience with really emotional material. And we were moving really quickly. And now I feel like I can cry like that because I'm just very emotional. But then I was...
You're dead inside, so you just bring it
Yeah, really, yeah. No, I think it's like, I don't know. I feel like every year I just become, like, more Sicilian or something where, like, my hot-bloodedness just comes out. It just comes out? Yeah. But
it's nice if you can tap into that.
It is. I think... Yeah, it totally is. I think that's who I am, like, on a day-to-day. So on set, it's nice when you feel that comfortable with your team that you can just kind of do that. And for guest star stuff, you have to be able to just kind of be able to do that. But that back then, I remember him taking me aside and I was like, look, Ron, I'm really struggling here. Like, can you talk to me? And I remember him, like, walking me down the street. He was like, guys, we need 10. took me for a walk around the block, and it was freezing out, and he told me this story to kind of get me really upset. And I asked him, he's like, how far do you want me to go? And I was like, I really want you to go there. I really want you to I want to just try this. And he was like, okay. And then it worked. I haven't done that since, but he did exactly what I asked. And it was like, I think because I trusted him a lot, I knew that it would work. And I know that maybe it seems unconventional, but I really feel like whatever's gonna.
I like that.
Work for the actor.
I like that you're willing to say though that it's like, look, it's like, let's try it. This isn't working.
Yeah, I like trying.
So let's do something.
Let's
throw something else at it, as opposed to being insecure and just.
Yeah, it's hard to say that.
It's easy to do that. It's easy just to internalize it and
be like, oh fuck, this isn't working.
But to be able to say, look, it's like, it's a problem. Let's solve it.
Yeah, and I think for him or whoever watching is going, yeah, it's fine. Like, it's not like, yeah, okay, we'll move on. And that scares me more. Like, I would never want to move on if it wasn't, the best it could be. So that wasn't, I don't know. It doesn't always happen where you get a little time to kind of do that. Sometimes it's like, this is it.
Yeah.
We're taking it or leaving it. But yeah, I'm always in work, I'm always wanting to get whatever the best thing is going to be. However we get to that varies. There isn't like one process for me.
Nice.
I think that's fun to develop with the director. But yeah, I think you could be open to taking them aside. I think actors might like that.
You're right, though. I think it depends on the person.
Depends on person, yeah. Oh gosh.
You just like bubble up.
And now I feel like now that you've told me not to swear, now I'm swearing a bit, and now I'm like a little like, should I not have been swearing? I don't know.
It really doesn't matter.
I know.
You're okay. You're good.
I know. Okay, but now I want to peek.
See, now, no, don't do it. No,
I didn't. Don't. You know what? The font is really a bizarre font. I couldn't even catch the word.
It's Century Gothic for
who's
crying out loud.
Century Gothic these
I
days?
use Century Gothic.
I'd say Comic Sans.
It's not that. Now I'm gonna find a really personal one.
No. What's that? What's that?
What's your guilty pleasure?
Oh my God, there's so many.
Pick the worst one.
Worst?
Yeah, sure. Pick something juicy.
My guilty pleasure. Oh, they're all going to be so boring then, but they're really exciting me as I'm thinking about them. Like, listen to this. No, I'm going to say, I think I've already talked about food on this podcast, have I?
I don't think so. We got into food.
All right, because then it's like I feel like every interview I do is talking about food.
We talked about cookies in the jar.
All right, that's there, right? So now I'm going to talk about my obsession with fondue. So that's
like
really
cheese or chocolate.
Both, but
either?
Mostly
not together.
This plate never together.
You couldn't put like a little bit of cheese or chocolate in the cheese thing.
I mean, I'd be open to. I'm not saying I'm opposed, but if you go to
cheese, like camembert with a little bit of dark.
I'm liking goat cheese fondue right now.
Okay.
It's like a bite, something with a bite, like an apple piece and a little goat cheese fondue. But like milk chocolate fondue from this place. There's this place in Yorkville called Morocco, and it's like this crazy like European chocolatier. Anyways, guys, just go. I'm not even gonna try and pitch it to you because your mind will be blown.
Because it's amazing.
Yes. That's one. I really like massages. There's another. I don't know if that's guilty. There's nothing shameful about any of these.
No, because it's a work thing. You need to have that massage. Yeah?
I write it up. Thanks, Actra. Because I get, there's some benefits that are really great.
Like massages?
Thank you. Well, some of it, yeah. It's a percentage. But, I feel much less guilty about it. Guilty pleasures, I don't know.
No, that's good.
That's pretty good.
But the cheese over chocolate. You take the cheese, or you take.
In life, like if I had to choose chocolate or cheese for the rest of my life, it would be cheese. But if we're talking like my fondue obsession is really chocolate fondue. I know, I'm all over the place.
No, that's okay.
Yeah,
that's good. We usually do fondue at New Year's.
Really?
Yeah,
that's a nice tradition. I like that.
And then cheeses for the dinner, and then you do the chocolate for dessert.
Oh, that's such a nice idea.
Yeah.
That's a little, and then the bubbly and.
Yeah.
I like that. I guess wine is a guilty pleasure, but again, nothing guilty about any of these to me.
No, but that's good.
Right? They're all things I enjoy. What's yours? Name one.
Oh God, this is not how it works.
No, but I like that because then I have to learn about you at the same time.
Oh no! Now I have to think, and this is going to be dead air and boring.
No, it's not.
Guilty pleasure of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I might not be that interesting.
What about here's one, The Bachelor.
Oh, like a TV. Okay,
well,
like bad TV
I just thought
stuff.
Of it. Like that. That I'm a little.
Okay, I can go for that. What's a bad show I watch? What's something that? Oh my. Jesus, see, this is terrible. Is there a bad podcast? I just work all the time.
Wow, no guilty, no pleasure.
No, there was at some point, I'm sure, before I...
Okay, if it comes to you, I want to hear one.
Now I'm bothered by it,
By the end of this podcast,
There's a couple in my head. I don't know if they're good enough to mention.
Good enough? Mine weren't great.
I used to in college, it was like we had like Bad TV Mondays where we would watch like Average Joe. Remember that show?
Yes, I do. I wouldn't watch it though.
It was terrible. But with me and another roommate, we'd sit down and watch it.
Do you watch like Idol? Do you watch any music shows? Not that that's guilty. Again, it's no shame.
No, I don't judge anything because what do I like?
And don't get me wrong, I love The Bachelor.
It might just be I don't feel guilty about any of them. And I think that's where you came from.
Me too, where it's like, these are just things I like, and I think people think I should feel guilty about them.
I'm a big Woody Allen nerd. I'm a big, I like some comic books, but I don't feel bad about them.
Ninja Turtles?
Because I can write them all off. That's why you go to the arts, kids, because you can write every single passion of yours off.
Sure you can.
I might one day write a zombie thing, so I can write off all my Walking Dead comics.
Oh my god, we're all going to get audited next year.
Yeah. No, they can't, because I'll write a treatment for something, right? And then it's like, look,
it's research for your thing.
Yeah, I spent $200 in comics to write this half-page treatment.
But you know what that is? But it might happen.
It might happen.
Comic book movies. Dark Oracle was about comic books, and then I became very obsessed with just like comic books.
What do you read? Do you still read?
No, no, but I've kind of gone into the Spider-Man now with this new trilogy. I didn't actually know the Gwen Stacy story.
That's what someone we had this conversation. They're like, "Who the hell's Gwen Stacy?" It's like, well, it was the comics.
Yeah, now I've gone and read her story. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Good story.
It's a little heartbreaking.
Well, yeah, I mean, just...
Spoiler alert.
I think, you know what, I think it's been out now.
It's been out a long time.
I think 40 years.
40 years
is enough time for anyone to go look it up, because it didn't take me very long. But that is dark for a comic. My God.
There's some dark stuff in there.
I mean, Batman's my favorite superhero, but I did watch SpiderMan the cartoon every day after school, and Adam West Batman was also.
Yeah, that one's safe. But you kind of got to audit. Like my sister bought my twin nephews like the Spider-Man, the Ultimate Spider-Man, when they were like 6.
What is that? What do you mean the Ultimate?
The Ultimates is like kind of like a reboot that Marvel did.
Oh, the prettier cartoon. It's like a bit brighter kind of thing.
No, but the Ultimates was like a comic line, so it was a bit grittier.
Okay.
And it's kind of what the new Avengers has been based on. Like that storyline has been taken off of that, or at least those kind of interpretations of the characters. But they did it for like the entire line. So there's like the Ultimates, X-Men. Am I right? They did one for the X-Men.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So
it's a bit darker. So but her kids are into Spider-Man, so she bought it for him. And I was like, did you read it first? Because that's the kind of shit you need to audit a little bit.
I just told my brother what happened to Gwen Stacy, and he was like, "What?"
Why
and they're gonna
show
that? I know, I'm awful. I spoil movies until I'll be like, "Oh, you didn't watch it? I'm not gonna spoil it that this person dies and like falls." I just like completely ruin everything in terms of stories. But yeah, he's had some time to sort of mourn it already. So I did him
40 years. Yeah, that one's not.
Sure, Google it, right?
We've already said it's heartbreaking. You know what happens to people. I'm not going to say it outright because I'm not.
You know what?
I'm
not going to explain. Yeah, because I think what's heartbreaking about it
connect the dots.
is how it happens. That's the part that's shocking because it's not childish.
Well, and who knows how they'll reinterpret in the.
I mean, hopefully.
I still haven't seen the new first movie, so don't.
Yeah, right. Because you're like, this girl's gonna spoil it. Because now I've told you I spoil things.
I just assume you will.
I watched I put it on the airplane coming back from Georgia last week, a couple weeks ago, and I saw the guy in front of me was like obviously just a couple of scenes ahead of me. I was like, oh no! So I kept kind of like leaning like this, but then it's like I'd look and so
you were tempted.
Like I looked. I mean, what was I thinking? Why would I look? But I just, my eyes just couldn't help it.
I'm terrible. I will spoil something for myself and as soon as I know a little bit of it, I just have to know the whole goddamn thing.
I'm like that too. I just heard that The Walking Dead had a really big. Do you watch The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
So that bit, right? I don't watch it, but I'm talking as if I do because I read that there was some huge thing, and I was like, don't read it, because you're gonna want to watch the show, and it's gonna ruin it. But I mean, I had to read it.
Oh, it was.
Now I've ruined it for myself.
I know you're talking about, and I won't say what it is. Here's the thing.
Everyone knows though now.
I was talking to somebody else about that event on The Walking Dead, and I was like, I cried like a little bitch. And they're like, and then the person was like, yeah, are you caught up on the comics? I'm like, yeah, I read up to the last trade, and they thought I meant like the individual issues, and they said, oh, wasn't it terrible when so and so got killed? I was like, they killed who?
Was it the same thing?
No, it's totally different because they're like.
Oh no, they were ahead.
In terms of like where the comic is and where the show is, they're about on season 15 in the comics. Like that's how far ahead the story is.
Oh God! So they thought you meant that
so
would upset me.
I'm pretty far along in the comics. I just haven't. I don't read individually. But so the same thing. So I knew that. So I had to just go back and like go online and read the synopsis for what's going on. It comes out in like 2 weeks or something for me. Now because. But by the time this airs, it'll already be out.
Sure.
So, but yeah, it was like same thing. I was like, you son of...
I know. I hear you. I hear you.
But you gotta know. Yeah,
I have to know. Yeah, I'm pretty like...
It's a good show. It's a good... And especially, it's a good show to catch up on and be able to marathon because there are aspects of it, especially in the second season, that just... They're a bit labored, but it's good. But it's just... It's difficult when you're watching it week after week.
I see. So now when you know that there's another, you're like...
But not only that, but just when you can like kind of whip through the kind of slow parts.
You mean fast forward?
Not fast forward, but just in terms of like you don't have to wait a week for the next one, and then that one's a bit slow too. It's like you can get through those in like an afternoon, and then move on, and then you get to the good stuff again, right?
Did you watch Homeland? Because Homeland moves.
Homeland's so good.
You've caught up?
Yeah.
So good. And that's one that like I just devoured in that first season. Like I think I watched it in 2 days.
Yeah, and the second season is like they're halfway through the season, and they're in places where I thought they wouldn't be for like 2 more seasons.
I just feel like Brody, I'm worried. I can't see how he's going to sustain season 2. I just don't know how he's going to
survive the second season.
I don't think he's going to.
Okay, spoiler: if you don't watch Homeland, just skip forward.
No, but like we're not. This is me.
No.
This isn't even a. Oh, I see. If you haven't seen season 1 though, because
he wasn't the most interesting person in the world for me, but now I think he's one of the most complex characters in television history. Like he's all the shit he's dealing with, and just like, and this won't spoil anything. Hopefully, it doesn't spoil anything. But are you caught up to like last week?
Yeah.
And by the time this airs, the season will be over.
Exactly.
But he's like, this person's against me and this and that. Is like, I'm worse off than when I was in that hole. And it's like, you sure are, dude.
He sure is. But I see the only part I see the disconnect is first season, I felt like he was great at lying. I felt like we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what was up. I mean, I certainly didn't for sure. We're on the fence and like, he was so cut off. Now I feel like he can't, maybe it's him unraveling, but I really feel like, how did this guy
unravel?
So quickly.
I think it's because too many people caught him in too many things. Like now people know stuff that he didn't.
So he just can't lie.
And he just can't, because he's playing so many different angles now. I think that's what it is.
And he obviously, to me, doesn't believe in the cause anymore.
I think that's part of it. Part of it is he doesn't know what he believes in, and he just has no control over a situation. Where I think in the first season he felt like he was at least in control.
Yes, and that was I think that's why we didn't get, as an audience, so close to him. Like, I thought he was so compelling, but it was still like, we weren't seeing it through his eyes all the time. Yeah, it was just very secretive. I loved that. I mean, I think he's really incredible, and Claire Danes is just...
They're great.
Just...
Magic.
Okay,
we have some more.
Yep.
And I think... What's going on? Okay.
All right.
Wait.
I'm like,
Are you really getting... No, you should be we're like...
No, we have to do another one. I'm not talking about food anymore.
Yeah, I get it.
But I will answer that.
Oh, but this one's good. Did you read it, though? You did.
What is it?
It's going to be calling pulling a Tom.
But literally, I can't believe that it's about food.
What's your favorite comfort food on set?
But that's so easy. And on Degrassi, they still have it, apparently. It's called the PB. You can order grilled cheese with green olives on rye bread.
Grilled cheese? That's amazing.
I know.
Why is it called the PB?
Paula Brancati.
Oh, because
I've left and people can order it.
They made it just for you.
Well, that was like, no one really, they were like, olives, that's weird. But then some people tried and go, that's inspired. Right?
It adds a little bit of oomph to it.
Olives are one of my favorite things.
I think my wife once made grilled cheese with Kalamata olives inside.
Yeah, that's what, you can make it with anything, right? I'm obsessed with avocados right now, so I'm sort of like...
I can only do avocado and sushi. I don't like
Really?
I don't like the texture.
Do you like guac?
I love guac, but I can't just a chunk of...
I know, I never used to. Like in an omelet or like...
Things.
That's interesting, because
It mixed in with other stuff, I can do it. But
do you go to LA ever? Because the Mexican food there is just
I've never been to LA.
out of this world. But there's a restaurant in Toronto called Playa Cabana that's the most authentic, I think, in Toronto.
Where is it?
Davenport and DuPont.
Okay.
Great owners, like really fun place. But yeah, I want to do 2 more questions because now I feel like I can't believe it's another food question. I just can't believe it because I think that's all I tweet about. Oh, okay. I get nervous.
Oh, this one's not really relevant for you.
Okay. It's really mixed up in there. Okay.
Okay. This is going to be really interesting, the whole question period when it's on the audio version. Oh, this can work. Okay. Is there something, this is kind of a question that could work for either like a director or an actor. Okay. How do you know when you get the right take? Like, how do you know you got it?
I don't think you always do. I think there are times where you go, oh, I don't know about that. And then you watch it back later, like whatever, months later, and like, oh, that really did come together. Like I find oftentimes it's the opposite, where like when I'm unsure is when I'm most pleased. There's nothing worse than going, yes, and then you watch and you're like, ooh.
And then they use a different take.
Well, or like, yeah, that happens, or just kind of, it could change in editing, or like, it just wasn't quite as good as you thought, and like, I think that does come back to, and this is something I struggle with, and I think every actor would admit to struggling with this a little bit, is not editing as you go, like not...
Self-editing with your head?
Yeah, or like, Michael Riley, who plays Dr. Tom on Being Erica, who's I just adore as a guy and as an actor. He always would give these pearls of wisdom just in conversation without even knowing that was just like, oh my God, just tell me all your secrets. And like, he was saying, the best stuff when you're on set is like he used this like packing bags analogy. He was like, you got your passport and you packed your luggage and you got your suitcase and you got your carry-on and you got your hat and all your stuff is ready to go, and then you get to the airport and you just you let it all go and you go, I gotta just walk in free here. And meaning, you do all your prep and you can write all your notes all you want, but when you get to set and just go, let's just play and trust that you've done the work, but that other stuff can happen. And you're not going, he was saying, it's not like you should be going, oh, this is going well. Oh, okay, yes, I'm doing what I thought here. And, not necessarily like that, but I think a little bit, it is hard to kind of be completely outside, like to be just completely present. I find it can be difficult on set if there's a lot of distraction, there's a lot of stuff going on. So hopefully, I think I know that it's like good and I'm pleased with it when I don't quite remember everything that's happened, when it just feels a bit like really playful, really sort of a spirit. I mean, maybe that sounds super like
no
airy or something, but it doesn't happen that often. I find where I'm like, yeah. Yeah.
But that's good though, but if that's your thing, right? I like the analogy of the pack. I think that's exactly how I approach writing.
Really? I think that's good.
It's the exact same thing. It's like I plan the hell out of it. I know
everything. Of course, then you have to trust.
But then it's just that it goes, then when it goes into like actually writing scenes, they just go. It's like...
And they come alive.
And that's when you discover stuff about
I think it's a great way to think about the entire process. I mean, that to me is really just...
Yeah, have your plan in your head, but be able to like...
Yeah, like in terms of your character work and all of that, like I think that's your own journey with the character and with the piece, but like when you're on set, it's you and someone else or other people and props, and there's a lot of factors that you can't plan. I find that's one of the weirdest things is like I forget that there are going to be like props and busy work, and you're like,
do you want this one or
oh
this
God,
one?
or like eating, like I had to like eat in a bunch of scenes, obviously.
Do you need a spit bucket, or do you like sometimes?
Well, first I was like, oh, this is all right, but then of course after a while you're like, I can't eat like this cheeseburger from Harvey's all day. I don't know. I think that a lot of it is like just sort of being, if you're in the moment, whatever that means to you, then I think you can't really tell. I certainly can't tell anymore.
And you just trust someone else to know that they've got it.
I'm not opposed to asking for another if you I don't know what you think as a director, if you get the vibe, if you feel like you're friendly with the director that he wouldn't mind that, but I haven't done that in ages, I don't think, because
like my general rule is that as long as like we're not killing the day,
of course,
then if someone wants, it takes more time to argue against doing another take usually than to just do another take.
But different if you go, like if I said, hey, could we do another? And you said, no, we can, Paula, but I'm telling you, like, if I trust the director, which often you do, I mean, I think you have to, I think that they'll say, like, I've had situations, they've been like, we can, but I want you to know that I think we've got it. Like, that might be enough for me. Sometimes Yeah.
Oh, for me, I'm like, and that's like literally like we're against a wall where it's like we're losing the light, we're losing the location.
Of course.
Or it's a huge, complicated setup to reset up.
Yeah.
It's like, for me, it's just like, even if I know I've got it, then what's the harm in doing one more?
I know, just
unless
even for
a first production in some way.
Of course, even if it is that the other one was the better one in the end.
Maybe something really interesting will come out of this one.
Yeah, because you can edit. That's the other thing. It's like there can be magic in pieces of the different takes, right?
Maybe it's terrible, but at least you tried.
Or at least you got that out of your system. But honestly, I can't remember. I remember doing that a lot on series where I was there for a long time and you know the character really well. But on stuff that, like on Moon Point, for as little time as we had, I feel like for the most part, there wasn't a lot of like, can we do another? Because really, we knew that we probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
And with that pressure, you kind of just like, you go.
You just go. You do it.
Yeah.
How are we doing for time? Do we have time for a bonus question?
We're at an hour.
A bonus question?
Sure, but I'm nervous because I've
I'll
never
even
got
let
through
you
this
read it.
unscathed.
I'll even let you read it.
Okay. Okay.
I hope it's not the terrible one.
You're a writer as well.
Nope.
Wow, it's a lot. Okay, list 5 things that are crucial for you to connect with a character that you're either playing yourself or enjoying as an audience member.
That's a complicated one.
Oh man, it's a thing. I need to keep it so I can kind of refer to it. 5 things that are crucial for you to connect with a character.
Doesn't have to be 5.
Right, okay. Things to connect with a character that I'm playing.
Like what kind of things do you? How are you able?
How do I create a character?
Yeah.
Different depending on the project,
Sure.
but
Is there a general, or is it like different?
Something that is a thread throughout all of them, really, for me, is music. Even when I'm auditioning, if I have that time, if it's something really specific, I like creating like a playlist or like a thing that I think they would listen to. That was one of the first things we did on Moon Point. We only had like 3 days together, maybe one night where we all met. And one of the tasks that Sean gave us was like, pick your album for your character that we can bring on. And I was like, really? Then it kind of ended up being something that we used the entire time. We each had our album with us on the road trip, and like we had a whole bag packed. And I do that on my own without really noticing it. Like I kind of would have like a Jane playlist. And I'm being a musician, I think I connect music with a lot of things in my life, and music brings up a lot of emotions for me, memories, and so I really find that helps me pull certain things at the ready. So like that's a big part of the process actually for me.
I have music writing playlists.
Do you? See, okay, yeah. I feel like,
and I can't write and listen to music at the same time.
No, me neither.
It's too distracting. But I like to get in. It's for me. And I'm sure it's the same for you. It's like it's just a quick way to get into it.
Yeah, it's a quick sort of.
This is the feeling. This is the.
It's a mood. It's not even like a word. Yeah. So that's one for sure. And I think it depends. I think if it's like a thing that's so far from you and there's some research involved, like as I mentioned before, I was a big, like in school, I was taking notes and studying and all of that. So certainly I apply some of that to my job, right? Like I will read up, and I like sort of like collecting clues from the script, whatever that is, whatever that means for me at the time, and piecing together something. Sometimes I write like journal entries. If I feel it's just like whatever like works. As the character, depends. Totally depends.
To try to like, as the character.
I only did. I remember doing that so I played Jane for 3 seasons on Degrassi, and then there was the storyline where her dad she starts recalling memories that her dad molested her, but like only until he comes back in the picture. So I thought that was an interesting way to tackle that subject, because normally, because she's so strong and all these things, and it was obvious she'd suppress them. So I did a lot of research on that specifically, like suppressing memories and how that works. And then I kind of started, doing the music thing. And then I sort of felt like I didn't like this idea of writing all these notes about the thing, because it's like someone who's suppressing those memories wouldn't even know what that meant.
Right.
So I just kind of started writing, and I just felt like it would help me. It just kind of helped me, whatever, just to kind of be in the zone. And like I'm not formally trained, so my process is just a mishmash of being curious on set since I was a kid, and like picking up things that I found really interesting from all the adults that I'd worked with. And
that's a way of training. I would think.
Oh yeah, I think it should be, and I think it can be if it's a privilege to work at that age for sure. And I didn't even know it would be a career at that point, but like I've always been very curious. And that's the other thing. I think one thing that's very crucial to connect with the character is being curious and like very, unafraid to ask questions about the character, to connect with the director. I like watching actors on screen that don't exactly know everything about their character, just like we don't know everything there is about themselves. Does that make sense? Like I like that discomfort. I like watching that on camera. Like someone like Kate Winslet, who I feel like I just love her. I think she's incredible. Or like a Meryl Streep. I feel like they just are very present in the scenes and they don't know what's going to happen, and I think that's really exciting to watch. I don't know if that answers it.
I like
Maybe,
that.
yeah.
I like that. All right.
That was relatively painless.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad. The jar of hell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, they go back in.
They go back in. They get recycled.
Okay.
You might hear another one of these questions. I don't think any of them got doubled up from last time.
Okay. No, there's quite a few in there.
There is quite. Well, I tried to. I might add at some point to this. I'll try to keep my font.
Yeah. Right.
To,
Gothic Century.
Century Gothic.
Century Gothic.
Font.
No, it's all right. It's.
Tommy made me end it with an arm wrestle.
Do you want to do? Is
We
that
can
gonna be
arm
your
wrestle,
thing to
or-
button it?
Yeah, I think it could be.
Well, you know who's gonna win. not me.
But she beat me.
So that's a good way to end. I don't know if there's any other way to end it.
Unless
no.
you've got like some kind of unique talent you want to show off.
Was her talent arm wrestling?
No, she just decided that's how we should end it.
Unique talent? I don't know. Nothing that we should.
So we'll just do an arm wrestle?
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I'm not formally trained.
No, me
But,
neither.
but
Me neither. I've been doing some yoga though. Yeah, maybe.
Oh, well, then she.
Maybe best that we.
And I get the Band-Aid
I know.
arm, so you're gonna have the
Sorry.
band strength.
That box.
You're right. I got my Band-Aid, and also because I'm probably gonna lose this. Like I'm probably gonna lose.
Oh, are we taking rings and stuff
No,
off
just
now?
'cause
Is this
I'm
gonna
buying
turn into
people
a
like
brawl?
that.
I'm not gonna.
It's feeling very official all of a sudden.
Now it's
This
getting.
is a scene-for-scene recap of Over the Top.
Yeah.
Ready? One.
Combine the drama of
I'm really-
child kidnapping and arm wrestling by Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
1, 2, 3.
There you go. You got some strength going
You're
on.
being really easy.
Oh, you gave up.
I know, but you know what? Because I actually felt like for some reason my abs were really working there, and I don't even know.
I felt it in there.
I needed my full body to kind of.
That was a good one. All right.
Woo!
All right, so this has been 5 Questions with Jeremy. It's Paula Brancati. Did I say it right again?
Paula Brancati.
Look at me.
Yeah.
So follow me on Twitter, LaLonJeremy, and you're at.
At Paula Brancati.
See you next time.
Bye.
In today's world, people are busy and impatient. We are on information overload. Every minute counts. People want to know what you can do for them. They won't spend time reading or searching, but they will watch a video. If it clearly explains who you are and what you do and tells them what they want to hear, they will reach out to you. You have seconds to get people's attention. You want a video that is engaging and makes the viewer feel as though it is speaking directly to their needs. Add to your sales team a short video and let it do the heavy selling for you. Or add to your social media or wherever your audience is spending their time. Videos can pay back your investment 10 times over. So now that you've heard our message, let's talk about yours. Let's bring your image to life.